So what the heck is an elimination diet? Someone asked me about this the other day, and as I started to answer, I realized something important. Most people have heard the term. A lot of people have even kind of tried one, but it seems that almost nobody actually knows or has a clear understanding of what it's supposed to do or how to do it correctly. I've searched, I haven't found a great video to link to someone for this, so I'll just make one. Elimination diets are one of those things floating around in the wellness world where people just kind of like nod along and agree. They're like, yeah, elimination diet. Sure, yeah, cut out the gluten and the dairy for a while. Got it, done, easy. That's not really it. It's actually barely scratching the surface of what this tool can actually do when it's used correctly, in my opinion. I'm going to walk you through what an elimination diet actually is. There are some slight variations, obviously, per the person writing it for you, but we'll also talk about why you'd want to do one, how it's actually done, and the part that I find that most people are missing with the concept, which is how you bring the foods back in, because that's the entire point, and most people I've found are struggling with that. So here we go. This is going to be short, practical. This is the video that I wish I had when I was first learning this stuff, okay? And I really respect your time, so I'm going to move quickly. If there's something you don't understand, just replay it. A quick note before we dig in. I'm a physician. I've watched a lot of people do this tool very well. I've watched a lot of people use it very badly. The difference between those two outcomes is usually understanding of the process. So that's what we're going to cover. If you've been dealing with a lot of things that you can't explain, bloating, brain fog, skin stuff, joint aches that come and go, energy that doesn't make sense given how well you're sleeping, mood swings that aren't obviously linked to something, this is the kind of situation where this tool can actually be useful. Of course, I always recommend getting a solid biomarker workup from your physician, okay? Because those can be other things that an elimination diet will not fix. But if you've done that and you're here, this is a good tool for you. This is not a weight loss diet. It's not a forever diet. It is a diagnostic process. And once you understand it that way, it makes a lot more sense. So, at its core, an elimination diet is the temporary removal of common reactive foods from your diet, followed by a structured reintroduction to figure out which ones your body actually has a problem with. That's it. That's the whole concept. The reason it works is because it's pretty simple. When you're eating a modern diet, you're getting exposed to dozens of potentially reactive foods every single day. Gluten in the morning, dairy in your coffee, eggs at lunch, some kind of seed oil, which is essentially a proxy for ultra-processed foods because the data is still out on seed oils, but the data is very clear on ultra-processed foods. Corn, soy, sugar, nightshades if you eat a lot of tomatoes or peppers. If your body is reacting to one or more of those, you would have likely never figured out which one because you were never not eating them. An elimination diet is just a way of clearing all of this so you can actually see what's affecting you. The problem is that food sensitivities don't show up well on standard labs a lot of times. The blood tests for them are unreliable in most cases. The most accurate test we have in general is still your body's own response when you remove something and then reintroduce it. Here's something that I want to say, and I want to be careful with this, okay? I don't think that everyone needs an elimination diet. There might be some people saying that. I genuinely don't think that. If you feel great, energy's good, digestion's fine, skin's cleared, sleep is great, there's no real reason to do this, in my opinion. It is a tool for figuring out something. It's not a wellness ritual to do every year. But if you've got symptoms that won't go away and you can't trace them back to something, or you've done labs and everything looks normal, but you still don't feel well, or your gut just hasn't been right for a while, these are the situations where I think it actually has a good place. The most common things I see resolve in people when this is done correctly is things like chronic bloating, brain fog. That doesn't necessarily resolve after you've fixed your sleep because that's usually a big factor of that. Eczema and some other random skin stuff as well. Joint pain that comes and goes. Headaches. Fatigue that didn't really add up. Mood swings. To be clear, there are a lot of other causes for those issues. Not all of them are food, but food is involved more often than people realize. And the only way to know that is to actually test it. Okay, so that's the why and the what. The next part is where people mess up, like I was saying earlier. So stay with me, because the protocol piece is the big difference here. Phase 1 is the elimination phase, usually around 3 weeks, give or take. You remove the most commonly reactive foods: gluten, dairy, eggs, soy, corn, refined sugar, alcohol. A lot of times nightshades, which is tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, potatoes, sometimes certain nuts depending on the protocol. I know that sounds like a lot, because it is. You're only doing this for 3 weeks though. I promise you, you can get through this. This will be more work for 3 weeks. You're gonna have to prep your own food. You're not gonna be able to eat out. It could suck, but you can do this for 3 weeks. The point is you get your system fully clear of the things that you might be reacting to. So when you reintroduce them, it's very obvious. What you'll be eating instead during this phase is whole food, real food, meat, fish, vegetables that aren't nightshades, fruit, rice, olive oil. You can do some sweet potatoes in a lot of these diets. Avocados, good salt, herbs. These are actually really clean things to eat, and you can do it in a very satisfying way. There's entire menus on how to make these things at home, recipe books, all sorts of options for you. That's not this video. I'm not a chef, so sorry. During this phase, you are tracking how you feel, your energy, your sleep, your digestion, skin, mood, joints, brain fog, whatever it may be. Whatever symptom brought you here in the first place, track it. Keep notes. They don't have to be fancy. They don't have to be a novel every single day. Literally just scratch a few things on a paper, something that you can understand. You'll be able to look at a trend over time. A lot of people start noticing changes by week 1.5 to 2 weeks, okay? Sometimes sooner. Now, here's the part that I think matters the most. This is the part that most people skip or go through too quickly. This is why I want to mention it. The reintroduction phase is where you actually get most of your answers. The elimination phase is more setting the table, okay? The reintroduction is the real data. You bring foods back one at a time, one food, like 3 or so days at a time. You introduce that one food back. Then you move on to the next one. The reason for like a 3-ish day time period is that because food reactions aren't always immediate. Sometimes you eat something and you're fine for a few hours or even 24 hours, and then you wake up bloated, or your skin flares up, or you don't sleep well and you feel like crap again. If you bring 2 foods back at the same time, you'll never know which one of those caused that. So you go slow. Pick one food, eat it, and then wait. You can even introduce it a few times that day if you really want to. Watch how you feel over the next 72 hours. Track it. If the symptoms come back, that food goes on your bad list. If nothing happens, it's probably fine, and you can keep it in. Lucky you. Then you move on to the next food. Same process. This phase can take a few weeks if you're being thorough and doing it correctly, but I think you should be thorough. That's okay. You're collecting information that you will always have, and a few weeks of the inconvenience of this is, in my opinion, a heck of a lot better than a lifetime of dealing with the illness. Now, something that I've got to say, because it's very important, because everyone freaks out about here. This is not a life sentence. I have to be really, really clear about this, because again, it scares people off. An elimination diet is not a forever diet. It is a temporary tool. You are not signing up to never eat bread again. You're figuring out what your body is reacting to right now in this season of life so you can make informed decisions going forward. Sometimes the answer is that you tolerate something fine and you keep it in. Sometimes the answer is that one specific food is a clear problem and you choose to eliminate it or limit it. Sometimes the answer is that you're sensitive to something now, but you might not be in 6 months after you've worked on your gut health or your stress or your sleep or whatever it may be. Your body changes and adapts. Your sensitivities might not always be the same. What you couldn't tolerate 2 years ago might be totally fine now. I don't know. The point isn't to build a restrictive identity around food. The point is to know what's affecting you so you can choose what to do about it. That matters. So that's the elimination diet. Strip out the common reactive foods for about 3 weeks. Reintroduce them one at a time with at least 3 days between each one. Track your response. Use what you learn. It's one of the most useful tools I know for figuring out food-related symptoms that nothing else has been able to explain. When it's done properly, in my opinion, in a lot of cases, it is genuinely worth the inconvenience that it brings sometimes. If you want to dive deeper into this, a much deeper version more than I can go into in a quick overview of a YouTube video, gut health, food, relationship between what you eat and how you feel mentally and physically, and much more. That's a big part of what I cover in my book, From Adult to Doctor. It's the blueprint that I wish I had when I was figuring out all this stuff myself. and kind of stumbling through it and piecing together all sorts of data from different aspects. And I distilled all of that. It took me 3 years to get this to you. And the reviews have been amazing. I think you'll really enjoy it. I'd like to mention that to you. It's in all formats, and I'll link at the top of the description for you. I also put together a free 30-day blueprint that walks you through all the foundational habits that I use with a lot of my patients. I'll link that in the description for you. I want to meet people with where they're at. It's more concise. It's free though, so maybe you'll enjoy it. Pick whichever one resonates with you the most right now. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification icon. I drop another amazing video like this once a week, sometimes twice a week. I don't want you to miss one. And if you found value from this, share it with someone that you care about. Share it with a loved one. It's free, and it's the least that you can do to help them. And as always, I'm Dr. Matt Jones. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.